I've got a little story for you. There is a Japanese studio who've been working tirelessly hard for years, hundreds of employees potentially, on their dream game. It is called Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. It's a spiritual successor to the Suikoden series, PS1, PS2 JRPGs, big fan base, decent games. And they were thinking, we've got our great game, we're going to port it to the West, things are going to be great. Unfortunately, nefarious, incompetent English translators have destroyed the game for basically everyone. Unless you can play it in Japanese, unless you speak Japanese, unfortunately, you are going to be playing a game that lectures you on misgendering people. It insults you for having certain politics, and that's the game that you're now getting. It is particularly sad because this isn't like a Sweet Baby Inc. scenario where some development studio, they've hired some pathetic consultancy, they believe in pushing diversity, DEI first, and that's their priority over making a fun game. When that happens, you can just ignore it. This is worse because an overseas studio, the devs behind Eiyuden Chronicle, they were likely doing their very best to make a game that is just fun, it's entertaining, they don't give a toss about Western identity politics. But these translators who they hired, they do. All they care about is their agenda, trying to re-educate people, the players who play this game, and it's totally destroying it. Fans are looking for refunds. They're making their voices heard on the Steam forums. The hype is dying very quickly for this game. It's a handful of people literally who did this. These English translators, it's a tiny team. This was a game made on a budget, despite all those employees in Japan. They hire these clowns, ruin it for everyone. Now, I don't want to say the dev team isn't responsible at all, because they hired these people, they had sign-off, they could have done more quality control, got a third party to review their work or something like that. But I feel like it is different from that typical Sweet Baby kind of scenario. It's just a sad situation all around. Now, what they've actually done, because this isn't an exaggeration, what they've done, it is awful. The worst thing about this is unless you can speak Japanese, for instance, you're pretty much stuck. You can't play what the devs clearly wanted us to experience. So we can see here in a post that kind of compiles all of this, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. It's the spiritual successor to the excellent Suikoden JRPG series. It seems to have hired a Clown World localization team. The devs have hired these clowns, changing the entire scope and tone of characters from happy, polite, excited, to sarcastic, belittling, and denigrating. Inserting the word chud, setting up a gender correction joke when it wasn't mentioned in the original dialogue. And I always say joke is being generous. Yeah, it's a joke, but no, they're being deadly serious about it. In fact, they want you dead if this is something that you actually make fun of. Now, when it comes to the first example, which is where we can see a character say, "Sigh, another muscle-brained chud." If chud doesn't mean anything to you, then honestly, I envy you, because it means you haven't encountered some of the most insane, deranged people on the internet. People use the word chud. The only thing I like about it is it's such a red flag that you immediately know who you're dealing with. It's someone who makes politics their entire identity. You'd be shocked if they don't have pronouns in the bio. And they'll always talk about how they've had to alienate their entire family because they're not progressive enough like they are. They're very interesting characters. If you're still not sure, the Urban Dictionary definition for chud: a conservative Republican, someone who is either racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, a bootlicker, or all of the above. These sort of ridiculous terms, they're pushing that in this video game. The original translation, so the Japanese version, the original writers, they did not intend for this at all. This was not meant to be a political sentence. The translators inserted this in themselves. I don't understand the ego here. You've got the privilege to translate work from a team of likely talented individuals. Surely all you're doing is saying, I want to do the best job possible because it's my duty to make sure the players play what the original devs intended. They don't see it that way. They seem to hate the audience. They don't respect the original devs. All they care about is pushing their Reddit brain takes onto everyone. And they won't rest until everyone shares their worldview. It's basically them having a go at brainwashing. This doesn't end either, because there's another exchange. I'll read out the Japanese version first. So, really harmless. You'll think, what's the problem here? Japanese version, the characters have maybe killed an enemy or something like that, and they say, we did it. What is this huge thing anyway, referring to the object or the enemy that they might have killed? So, totally harmless. If we read the translated version, it gets a little bit more nefarious. Instead, remember the first version, there was no mention of gender, not in this translated version. The character says, got him. And then a character corrects them and says, you sure it's a he? Suggesting that you've misgendered this monster or whatever it might be. A real golden opportunity just to lecture us and just check your privilege. Why are you assuming someone's gender? You gotta think twice. Again, no reference to this in the original. The translator decided to worm this in there for really only one reason, again, to push their own politics onto everyone else. A lot of people have found much more of this, so you might think, oh, there's one or two examples, surely the game is totally fine. Well, people are finding much more. The game isn't officially out where I am, so I imagine this is going to keep cropping up. More and more of this crap is going to be discovered. And what's really sad, again, is Eiyuden Chronicle, I don't think it's the biggest budget game. Again, I think the original devs, they have to be held accountable for hiring these morons. But it's also that they don't have a lot of money, and they just may not have had the resources to really check on this properly. I'm sure they're going to regret it once they find that people in the West, they're kind of souring to the game as a whole. I'm not sure if the gameplay and everything's going to be fantastic, but whether it is or not, lots of people who are pumped, they are going to be turned off by this. They're making their voice heard on the Steam forums. And they may just regret not doing that quality control. But there's so many examples. It's not one or two. They keep popping up. I'm going to read another one here. So firstly, the Japanese version. It's always normal. There's nothing really weird in there outside of what you'd expect normally in a JRPG at the very least. So the Japanese exchange, someone says, oh, you've got a lens too. And I, look, come on, come on, come on. There, you could see it for a moment, right? Now, none of that probably makes sense, but it's also because there's nothing really going on, there's nothing really to be too concerned about. The translated version, though, this is something you're not going to forget and it's going to stand out to you for all the wrong reasons. It starts the same way. You've got a lens, Noah. That's exactly what it says in the Japanese version. But then it takes a turn. And the character says, well, ladies and gentle wolves, so do I. Rubber-dub-dub, don't be a flub. I'm not even going to continue past rubber-dub-dub, don't be a flub. You've got the political part of this, and then you've just got the incompetent side that manages to take a JRPG. Some of them are cringe, let's be honest, even ironically, nostalgically cringe. But then there's rubber-dub, don't be a flub. That's where you start nefarious. Now you've just got an incompetent, laughable, and now no one's interested. The devs didn't put this in the... Why are you putting that in there? I understand that sometimes translation, there's a low budget, and I've heard stories about one guy, he's got a whole month to translate a whole game. I think that may have happened with Final Fantasy VII. But this is something else. It feels like they're almost taking the piss. Like they think, oh, we're not doing a good job because we hate the people who are going to play this. So we're going to make the experience as miserable as is possible for them. How are these people getting hired? Well, I kind of know the answer because I started to look at some of this. I saw a tweet that showed the credits of the game. And we can see it's been translated to a number of languages. I have a feeling the Italian, German, Spanish translation, Brazilian, it doesn't have the same trend where everything suddenly becomes about politics. I have a feeling those translations are probably pretty faithful, but that's a prediction. I don't know it for sure. I just have a feeling. But when we come to the English one, there's a few names here. Brian Gray, Casey Lowe, a couple of others. Pretty small team. It's not as if they hired some huge company and they all worked on it. It's just a coincidence. It's as bad as it is. It's a handful of people. So 2 or 3 people managed to ruin a game for everyone here in the West, when there were likely hundreds of people working on it in Japan. Really sad situation. I can't re-emphasize that enough. But I actually looked up one of these people. So Casey Lowe, I picked him at random, and I thought, I wonder what this person's worked on in the past. They have translated some games. Xenoblade Chronicles was one of them, a few others. But then I sadly dug a bit deeper, and what I found was not pretty. First of all, we can see here at the end of 2022, Casey Lowe decided that they weren't going to be posting on Twitter, posting on X anymore. Now, that is around the time that Elon Musk took over. So we can conclude that because of Elon Musk's racism, right-wing political takes, whatever it might be, that this person decided that they're not going to be posting on Twitter anymore. And we can see that the news site that they went to, what's it called? Hive. Never heard of Hive. I looked into it. It seems like a dead site. Nice move. I'm sure everyone's following you there. But, of course, pronouns in the bio. He, his. Could be worse, I suppose. And if we go to the top here, I did put on my detective cap, and I noticed that their alias online is Takuhi. I might be getting that wrong, but I don't care. I looked up Takuhi, and I found that they were a regular poster on Reset Era. If you're not familiar with that, the word chud that I mentioned earlier, which refers to xenophobes, sexist, blah, 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 this is a very recurring term on this website. This website, it's not even about games like it claims to be. Almost everything is related to politics. Every second game, Hogwarts Legacy, you can't even discuss it on the website because, oh my goodness, it is literally a transphobic game, and if you play it, you're evil. That's what this website is about. So this person, the translator, and I've done some other verifying, so I'm not just jumping to conclusions. It's literally the same person, Takuhi. We can see them posting here on Reset Era. They're sitting around all day posting on Donald Trump threads, and the thread is titled, President Fuckface Trump brags about how much he works thanks to the magic of hamburgers. And he's in here going, oh my god, how he's going to sarcasm for everything, I can't wait. Literal child in a 40-year-old's body going on about this. Plenty of other threads, US politics. We can see him here whinging about Fox News. Jesus Christ, even had it his show. Isn't falling enough for Trump anymore? Now, you might say I'm biased or something. I don't live in America. I don't have a horse in the political race, the American political race. My issue is this, and I want to be careful here. It's not about calling someone out and saying, oh my god, if they have the wrong politics, they need to be cancelled. I don't want to go so far in the other direction that you're as bad as the other side. That's not what it's about here. My concern is that you have a video game made by a team in Japan, and it's been destroyed. Agendas have been pushed that undermine the entire game. Everything it's trying to do, the dialogue, the story, it doesn't seem to be the same anymore. And this has been caused by a handful of people. We can see that in the credits here. It's not a huge company hasn't ruined this. We're talking about a couple of people. Everyone else in Japan might have done the right thing, but these insane weirdos managed to wreck it. And we can see where it comes from. This person is terminally online when it comes to politics, sitting around crying about Donald Trump all day, and this brain rot has managed to infest itself in the video game that millions of potential customers want to play. They just want to be entertained, and you couldn't help yourself. I imagine your other team members, I haven't looked into them, but I'm guessing I will notice a pattern here. It's sad. Any interest I had in the game, it's gone, and that's the way lots of other people feel on the Steam forums. Sweet Baby Inc. is one thing, but that's in your face. It's obvious. This is much harder to find. Unfortunately, these idiots, they were so obvious using terms like chud, you find out in 2 seconds. But I can imagine a lot of other nefarious stuff happens that isn't quite so obvious. And it's pretty evil, it's pretty concerning. So I wanted to bring this to your attention. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.